It's happening, and for thousands of families across the U.S., it's absolutely devastating. The 2025 immigration law has just taken effect, and it's already leading to the deportation of legal green card holders. Yes, people who followed the rules, paid their taxes, built their lives here, and called America home for years, now suddenly facing removal. And most of them didn't even see it coming. This new law isn't just targeting undocumented immigrants. It's hitting lawful permanent residents, those holding green cards, due to changes in eligibility, stricter reviews of past legal records, and tougher enforcement guidelines. Imagine living in the US for 10, 15, even 20 years, only to be told one paperwork error or one minor incident from your past now qualifies you for deportation. That's not a warning, it's already happening. Families are being separated, flights are being booked, and while mainstream media is barely touching it, immigration lawyers and advocacy groups are sounding the alarm. The most shocking part? Many of those affected didn't even realize they were at risk. They weren't notified. They weren't given time to fight back. Some are being removed after routine green card renewals, others after simple interactions with law enforcement. The law is swift, and it's unforgiving. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what's in the 2025 immigration law, why green card holders are being deported, who's most at risk, and what steps you or your loved ones need to take right now to avoid being blindsided. You need to know your rights. You need to know the loopholes. And most importantly, you need to act before it's too late. If you know anyone on a green card, or if you are one, smash that like button now, because this information could be the difference between staying safe or getting caught up in something that could destroy everything. Let's uncover the truth together. So let's talk about what's actually inside this new 2025 immigration law that's causing so much chaos. This isn't just a minor update or bureaucratic tweak. It's a total overhaul in how the U.S. government is treating permanent residents. Under the new guidelines, immigration authorities now have expanded powers to review, challenge, and even revoke green cards that were previously considered secure. That means lawful permanent residents, people who have lived here for years, paid taxes, raised families, and built lives, are being reevaluated through a stricter lens. One of the biggest changes is retroactive enforcement. That means even an old legal issue, something from 10 or 15 years ago that had no effect on your green card before, could now be grounds for removal. And it's not just serious crimes. What's making this situation even worse is the silence. For many, it's not until they see someone in their community suddenly disappear that they start asking questions. People are waking up to the reality that someone they've known for years, someone who never caused any trouble, someone they thought was safe, is suddenly facing removal proceedings. No crime committed, no warning given, just gone. It's chilling. And the fact that this is all happening legally, under a signed federal law, makes it even more disturbing. This isn't a glitch in the system, it is the system now. And if we don't pay attention, if we don't understand how it works, it's going to keep happening. Quietly, quickly, and without any accountability. Now here's where it gets even trickier. The law doesn't just look at criminal history or legal status. It now allows for subjective judgment. If an immigration officer believes someone poses a risk to the integrity of U.S. residency based on vague, undefined guidelines, they can flag that green card holder for review. That means a past job, a trip overseas, or even something like unpaid taxes could now fall under scrutiny. The line between legal status and vulnerability has blurred, and for green card holders, that's a terrifying place to be. You might think you're in the clear because you followed the rules, but now the rules have changed, and the enforcement is more aggressive than ever. What's especially heartbreaking is hearing the stories. Mothers separated from their kids. Elderly immigrants who've lived here peacefully for years suddenly being detained. College students with dreams of becoming doctors or engineers seeing their parents deported. These aren't statistics. These are real lives, real families, And while the law might claim to be protecting national interest, it's breaking up the very communities that built this country from the ground up. And the saddest part? Many of the people being targeted have no one to advocate for them. They don't have lawyers on standby. They don't have resources. Some don't even speak enough English to understand the notice when it arrives. That's why this conversation is so urgent. Because what's happening in 2025 might shape the future of immigration enforcement for the next decade, and it's happening right now in real time. Another layer to this crisis is misinformation. With so many people confused and scared, there's a wave of false claims circulating online. Some say all green card holders are safe. Others say every green card will be reviewed. Neither is entirely true, but both are dangerous. This law is specific, but it's also broad. It's written in a way that gives officers discretion, and that means decisions are not always consistent. What one person gets approved for, another might get deported for. And if you don't have the right representation, or if you don't even realize your case is under review, you could lose everything before you get the chance to fight back. That's not justice. That's chaos. And it's not just affecting older immigrants. Young adults who grew up in the US, who went to school here, who speak English better than their native language, they're being impacted too. Some of them never even realized their green card was conditional. Others didn't know a juvenile charge from their teenage years could come back to haunt them. Now they're scrambling for help, calling attorneys, trying to understand how something that happened years ago could suddenly define their entire future. And in many cases, help is either too expensive, too slow, or completely unavailable. Let's be absolutely clear about something. This new immigration law in 2025 didn't just appear overnight. It didn't fall from the sky or catch lawmakers off guard. It's the result of a long, deliberate, and calculated shift in how immigration is being handled in the United States. For years now, we've seen gradual moves to tighten the system, to raise the bar for legal residency, and to expand the power of enforcement agencies. This law is not a glitch or an exception. It's a symptom of a broader political and legal movement that has been quietly building momentum behind the scenes. While it's being promoted by some officials as a necessary reform to crack down on fraud, abuse, or so-called threats to national integrity, what's actually happening on the ground paints a very different picture. Instead of focusing on truly dangerous individuals or criminal operations, this law is sweeping up innocent people who pose no risk at all: long-term residents, parents, caretakers, taxpayers, and everyday neighbors who have been living here legally, often for decades. It's not just targeting bad actors. It's making examples out of families who did everything right. And that's where the emotional weight of this really starts to hit. What we're witnessing is a use of policy not as protection, but as punishment. It's not being applied with compassion or logic. It's being used as a symbol, a warning, and a weapon to instill fear. And it's working. Communities across the country are feeling the pressure. People are now too scared to renew their green cards, fearing it could trigger a review. They're afraid to speak to government agencies or even attend immigration-related appointments. Looking ahead, we can expect the legal and political landscape to become even more heated. As the full impact of this law becomes more visible, there will likely be an increase in legal challenges filed by advocacy groups and immigrant rights organizations. Court cases may begin to surface across states, each arguing the constitutionality and fairness of the law's enforcement. Media coverage, although limited so far, will likely intensify as more heartbreaking stories come to light: families torn apart, careers destroyed, dreams dismantled. Politicians will be pushed to take a stand. Debates will break out on Capitol Hill. There will be pressure on both sides. Some will want to double down on enforcement, while others will call for reform, reversal, or at the very least, pause and review. They need real answers right now. They need clear information. They need support. They need communities that will stand beside them and leaders who won't look the other way. But most of all, they need awareness. That's why this video isn't just another immigration update or policy recap. It's a serious warning. It's a wake-up call to every green card holder and every person who loves someone who holds one. This is not the time to assume you're safe or believe that everything will just work itself out. We've already seen what happens when people stay silent, when communities remain unaware, and when policies like these go unchecked. It becomes too late to do anything once you're already in a courtroom, or worse, already in detention. So staying informed and alert is not optional anymore. It's urgent. It's necessary. And it's the first line of defense against what could be a devastating chain of events. So please, if you are watching this and you are currently a green card holder, or even if you know someone who is, don't take this lightly. Don't assume your paperwork is automatically safe. Don't convince yourself that because you've never had a problem before, you won't have one now. The rules have changed. The way applications are reviewed has changed. What counts as a risk has changed. Now is the time to be proactive. Get your documents organized. Make sure your green card is up to date and accurate. Consult with an immigration attorney to understand exactly where you stand under this new law. Don't wait until your renewal date is right around the corner. Don't wait until you receive that dreaded letter in the mail. Review your travel history, your employment timeline, your tax records, any old legal matters that could be flagged, even if they were resolved years ago. Understand how they might be reinterpreted under this new enforcement. And above all, please, don't keep this information to yourself. The worst thing we can do right now is stay silent. Talk about it. Post about it. Call your family. Call your community center. Share this video with anyone who might need to hear it. We don't raise awareness by whispering. We do it by speaking out. Because silence is exactly what allows policies like this to thrive. When people don't know their rights, when they don't realize what's coming, when they think it won't happen to them, that's when the system wins. But together, if we stay vocal, if we stay vigilant, if we help one another, we can create a different outcome. We can hold people accountable. We can push for better laws, fairer enforcement, and a country that honors its promise to those who came here legally and in good faith. So let's not back down now. Let's get loud. Let's get informed. And let's make sure this doesn't continue without resistance.